Real estate agents are dropping like flies. A record number of agents are leaving our industry, and thousands more are just taking part-time jobs because there's really not that much inventory to sell. It's a shame, but what does that mean for you? You homeowners out there looking to protect yourself when you're signing any type of real estate contract. Now, this has been going on for a long time. It kind of worries me and frustrates me. Even more so in this market, as homeowners are getting pressured to make a commitment, like sign those papers, without really understanding their options. Diane Cardano-Casacio, team leader and associate broker here for the Cardano team. I'm gonna dive into this and give you some tips how to navigate in this low inventory market, because it's different, guys. 2024 is even lower than ever, so you need to review your options when you're buying and selling a home. I'm especially worried about my empty nesters. I do a lot with them, and they're getting forced into signing things or getting an iPad like shoved in front of them. They don't even know how to use an iPad. I told them to use your finger and sign the paperwork without really actually someone going through the documents line by line and explaining to them what they're signing. So let's make educated decisions, right? When you're selling your home, and know the facts before signing. I'm going to kind of go through that right now. Let's get started. So first, let's start with why this is happening. So right now, it's a low inventory market in 2024. It's the lowest it's ever been, and realtors are swarming around to get a deal so I can sell a house and get paid. There's not much to sell. There's a lot of competition, and they need to make money. We all need to make money as the economy, the inflation, things like that. So realtors are out knocking on doors, I don't know, at record levels. They don't want to do a part-time job. They want to do real estate, and they don't want to fail because you know what some people might have said to them: don't get into real estate, get a real job. But real estate is a real job. We really, for those of us who take care of our clients and work hard for them. Now listen, I've been in real estate all my life. My role model is my father. He was the most integrity of a person I ever saw. He loved his job. He loved real estate, and everyone loved him. He would sit with people. He took them by the hand. He showed them how he's going to build their perfect custom home, and he would stay with them all the way through the transaction. He would call them all the time, call them up after the sale. I got to learn from him to see, it was really interesting how he worked his business, and that's not the way many realtors are running their business, especially right now. I've heard some real horror stories from my followers and my clients, especially my empty nesters. They've been hit hard, I said before. That's pretty sad. It makes my stomach kind of rumble, because in any service-oriented business, and real estate is a service-oriented business, like real estate, a realtor cannot be just in business to make money, to make their car payment. They have to be in it to create clients for life. If they're not, then they're in the wrong business. Now, they're not bad people. A lot of realtors and just people in general are just under pressure. And people are desperate. And sometimes judgments get clouded. But in order for your realtor to get paid, you have to sign something, right? Either some kind of listing contract, a rental agreement, a buyer contract, whatever it is, so they get paid, okay? So really watch out. I'm going to talk about 4 areas. There are probably more. Maybe there are 5 I'm going to talk about today. But the most important things to look for when you're in a real estate transaction, okay? Number 1, understand what you're signing before you actually sign it. And have your realtor sit down with you, either on a Zoom call, if you're doing it electronically, or in person, and go over line by line. I just did that yesterday with a client, and they loved it. It's a time to bond with your client. It's a great time. You find out all about their family and what's really important to them. This is what this business is for me. It's the people and understanding their situation, and then I can help them. Only if they know that I've heard them can I help them, right? So let's take a listing contract, for example. The 4 most important things are: how long is the term of the contract? How much do I have to pay them? And what are you going to do from the day I sign to the day we go on the market? And where's the checklist from what you're going to do from the day it goes under contract to the day the home actually goes to settlement? And lastly, do they have some kind of after-sale client appreciation program? These are some important things to know. So let's start out with the first one: how long is the contract? Now, the contract should have an easy exit agreement that you can get out anytime after 30 days or so on the market. Not 30 days from signing the contract, but 30 days from going on the market. Because there's a lot of work that they do, at least I do, from the day we sign to the day we go on the market. It's a lot of work, getting it staged and painted and things that we do and low-cost fix-ups, things like that. So you want to give them 30 days to sell your home. The term of the contract can be however long it's going to be, because you have that 30-day out. But in today's market, it should not take more than a week to get your home under contract. Maybe weeks to get it ready if you do it right, but you should have a signed contract within a week of actually going on the market. It certainly shouldn't take 6 months to sell a house. not in our area at least, in Philly and the burbs. I just listed a house in Philadelphia. It was on the market before, and my client didn't even know when the contract ended. And then when they looked at it, it had ended already, but the home was still in the MLS. The realtor still had the property in the MLS. Next, I'm going to talk about how much money you need to pay. This is a loaded question because most realtors expect you to pay them what their neighbor paid that realtor, no matter what they're going to do. Now, commissions are negotiable. Just because it's a commission that everyone else is paying in your area doesn't mean that's what you pay your realtor, because your realtor needs to be doing enough of the things that they should be doing, the marketing, the communication. They should have a plan for you, not just sign a contract and they never get a phone call. So since commissions are negotiable, and if your realtor can't negotiate their commissions, I wouldn't hire them, because how can they negotiate your every last penny for you? If they're just worried about getting their car payment paid, don't hire them. Now, you need to know number 3, which is the timeline. How do you bring me through the process so I understand, what's going on? And what is your digital marketing strategy? Do you take photos with your cell phone? And that's not okay. Do you have drone photography? Should have. Do you pay to boost your listings on social media? They should. Did they determine the target market for your home? They should. Do they have a coming soon site or something, or some kind of system for off-market listings? Very important. And speaking of photos, I was telling you that last listing, not only did the realtor didn't even have the listing anymore, he had pictures of another house that was much nicer, not that house. So people would come in and see, oh my God, this is not what we saw. And that's why it wasn't selling. Also, it was overpriced. And since then, we just got it all painted, and we're going back on the market in a few weeks. Make sure your listing contract, your rental agreement, your buyer's contract has an attached marketing plan to it. Exactly what they're going to do. I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put it in this thing, I'm going to do pictures, drone photography, all these things, pre-home inspection, things like that. I talked to an elderly woman the other day, and she felt something was fishy as a young man was trying to get her to sign something. He was not leaving her home. She finally had to call a friend and tell her, tell this guy to leave, and he left. And I came in the next day. I wasn't throwing paperwork in her face. Now, we're working together now. I went through the entire process. She's going to be a client for life. She just referred her granddaughter who's buying her first home. So that's what it's all about, is understanding people, not throwing paperwork in their face. Lastly, is there an after-sale service program? Do they do things with their clients afterwards? Do they have testimonials for their clients? Do they have past client events? Or they just want to sell your house, get your money, and never see you again? That's 90% of the realtors. Now, there's so many other things you should be asking a realtor before hiring them, and I've been asked to do a video on that, so look for that one soon. I did log in below as the questions to ask a realtor before hiring, if you want to see those and get a head start. Okay, the second tip is make sure you get a pre-home inspection. I just did a whole entire video on this. The link to that video is below. You want to uncover the good, the bad, and the ugly, with emphasis on bad and ugly. I was in this house the other day, and there was another realtor in there before me. And when I was talking about this strategy that I did, the pre-home inspection, she said the prior realtor said not to do a pre-home inspection because then you'll have to disclose things. What? Disclose? Of course you're supposed to disclose things. That's the idea. Unless you want to be in a lawsuit after the home is sold, you out and having a margarita somewhere, and 3 months later they're calling you back because something's not right. Now, I wouldn't hire that agent. Now, if you're in an area that buyers are doing inspections and you have an agreement and they do an inspection, that's fine. You'll have your list of things that you did from your pre-home inspection, and you could attach that to the agreement. And you can also put on the agreement that the buyer can only ask for things that they didn't know, but they didn't know already, because they already have the home inspection report, right? They already know some of these things. You already disclosed stuff. All the cards are on the table. So they shouldn't be asking for things they already know about. And make sure you only give the buyer 10 days to do their home inspection, because they can hold you hostage. And also the buyer can just walk away in Pennsylvania after the home inspection. They don't even have to tell you why. No reason at all. Just didn't want to buy the house anymore. So there you are, 3 weeks into it, and you're done. You have to start all over again. That's why shorter days in the agreement is really important. Third thing you want to do is get a communication schedule from your agent. How often are they going to be communicating with you? There's no reason that your agent shouldn't be talking to you at least 2 to 3 times a week. I don't care if there's nothing to say, but there's always something to say. They can give you a market update. They can give you ideas on how to get the home sold. If you're in the staging process, like before you go on the market, they should be helping you with the contract. They should be handling the contractors. They should have the list for you. They should set all the contractors up for you. They should get the costs for you for painting and things like that. They should be totally involved with getting the home on the market with you. There should be a timeline. And then the fourth thing I want to talk about is the pending process. You need to make sure that your realtor has a process when your home goes under contract through the settlement. I heard for so many people that the realtor sold the house and they never heard from them until celebration day or settlement, where they came to pick up their check. That was it. Then I heard other horror stories that the whole deal fell apart because they weren't following up with the mortgage company or the other realtor. The buyer had never applied for the mortgage, the commitment date came up, and it went. And the realtor never called anybody. So make sure the realtor's on top of your buyer's mortgage company, the title company, and the other realtor. And we have a checklist, so we give it to the other agent when it's our listing, so they're not dropping the ball. Put them the other way around, we make sure they're not dropping the ball, and we call them all the time. So we usually end up doing most of the work, but that's okay. The seller gets their home sold. The last thing you want is your home to be back on the market after 3 weeks, as I said that earlier. Lastly, the mortgage commitment date is really important. You want to tighten up that date. In these times, it shouldn't take a mortgage company more than 3 to 4 weeks for a conventional mortgage to get it done. FHA, VA, maybe longer, okay? And also the appraisal contingency. Shorten up those dates. I've heard so many horror stories about homeowners, especially in this market where prices are rising every day, and their agent did not protect them. The appraisal came in $20,000 lower than the asking price, and the buyer did not want to pay that higher price. So during negotiations of your home, especially in a seller's market, you have to waive the appraisal, but at least accept the appraisal up to a certain amount. You want them actually to waive everything. In this market, you can demand whatever you want. Just get really punchy. Your realtor should be the one who's really punchy. That's what I do. And lastly, I wanted to talk about a status. It's called active with contract. When your home goes under contract, you can list it as pending or you can list it active with contract. So active with contract means you're taking backup offers. But if you don't have any contingencies, then that's fine. But if there's some contingencies, leave it as active with contract because then your listing will stay out there until all your contingencies are met. Because after it goes back on the market, then the property can just be relisted as a brand new listing, bringing the on the market date to 0. Okay, really another tip. I keep going on tips. I'm sorry, I said 4, but I got one more for you. Lastly, winter pictures are in the MLS, but now it's summertime. Now, thanks for keep listening to, but I just keep going on all these ideas I have. But just say if something happened, your home didn't sell or had to go back on the market or whatever, and you took pictures and it was March or February. But now it's 2 months later and it's April and there's leaves on the tree and the outside looks way better and the realtor keeps the same photos. They don't go back and hire the photographer back and do some updated outside photos. That happens a lot. So make sure that if that happens to you, you go back on the market with great photos. Okay, and also, speaking of relisting, one more thing, I gotta keep going, but if your home stays on the market more than 30 days, and if you have a price adjustment or price reduction, always relist it back to 0 again. Make sure your realtor does not keep your home on the market and says 200 days. That doesn't look good. It'll shout out, what's wrong with me? So that's a lot, I know. And I just keep getting feedback received from other followers, and they just don't get the feedback. People just don't give the feedback. They're complaining about that. They're complaining about horrible marketing. They're paying their agent all this money. They don't even know what they're getting, what they're even doing for that. What are they spending the money on? There's no communication. They sign the papers. They're not reviewing anything. They feel under pressure. They're not understanding their options and what's best for them. All these things are going on, and I've been hearing all these things. That's why I wanted to do this video. So if you have any stories, let me know. And if you are looking for a referral agent and not live, because you don't live in Philly in the burbs, I also do South Jersey, a little plug-in for myself. But just get a call on my calendar for 15 minutes at dianescalendar.com, and I can help you hire the right realtor in your area. I do it all the time. I do all the hiring for you. And we have great agents in all major areas of the United States right now, waiting to give great service to the people that I introduce to them. So Diane Cardano here from Philly in the Burbs. Please subscribe. Get your questions to ask a realtor down below. Watch that pre-home inspection video. Just really understand what's happening before you list your house. Have a great day.